So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And I must say, I enjoyed that game. Enjoyed that game of football. And if any of you guys were here for the team sheet tantrum, you remember I was saying that this has been a real enjoyable series. It's been a series full of goals, opportunities to try things out against top opposition. No one's came and parked the bus anyway, that's for certain. It's been very much a series that's allowed teams to kind of look and see how they are going forward, more so I think than trying to, I suppose, solidify at the back, if that makes sense. But I found a really, really enjoyable game. Like, I suppose it depends on what your mindset is when you come into a preseason game. If you're expecting the last game of a trip like that to be pitch perfect and mistakeless, and everyone to have the rust knocked off, well, then you mightn't have been too happy about today. There's obviously issues like in defense at times because we were playing different partnerships, playing different systems. I think we played 3 different defensive systems throughout the whole game. You know, you're going to have little bits and pieces of miscommunication and an error, specifically between midfield and defense and so on. And look, that's to be expected. But for me, I really liked what I saw out there. I liked what happened when we almost went into. So obviously we had that water break, 2-0 down, and we'll go through the goals and stuff like that. 2-0 down, we have this water break, and then we come roaring out of the block. So what happened in that instance there was Unai Emery had a chance to see what was going on, changed it up. John McGinn went to small bit further forward, played in that 10 role. And I think he really, really made a massive difference when he went in there, and we scored 3 goals in 10 minutes. You know, so little things like that. The fact that the coaching staff were able to look and see how the game was going, change it up, albeit there's no way that you could have coached Ezri Konsa to score the goal that he scored, because for obvious reasons it was just an absolute wonder goal run from his own half. But I really liked that performance. I did, and it's a really good tune-up for the 2 games that I always felt were going to be the two the 2 closest to full strength games that we're going to play. One against obviously Lazio and then against Valencia as well. I must say, look, without telling anybody how to be a fan or anything, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion or whatever, but you know, obviously so am I, and so is everybody in the comments, and all opinions gratefully received and respectfully taken. But I felt there was a tiny little bit of unhappiness after the game or stuff and things like that. I felt, you know, it was a bit of mid-season form of this player is shit, this player is crap, this player needs to get out of the club, this player needs to be sold and stuff like that. And like I just don't understand it. I don't understand it during a preseason game like that, when players could have been run very, very hard during. And I haven't looked at your comments, so in case anybody thinks I'm talking about them from the comments they've put in here, I haven't looked at them yet, but I will be getting to them. I just wanted to kind of mention it head on that, you know, a lot of those players would have been coming, would have done a lot of fitness work, and a lot of the work that would have been done from Wednesday to now would have really just been shape work and stuff like that. So it would have been fitness work and shape work. So it's never going to be perfect. Like Ollie Watkins, the 2 chances that Ollie Watkins missed today, broke his absolute nuts to get into those positions. You know, the one where he tries to take it around the goalkeeper and it just squirts past the post. I think if that's in the middle of a game, in the middle of the season, he slides, he taps that one in, but he wasn't going to do that in whatever 30-degree heat in a preseason game and risk colliding with the post and getting injured. The one that comes across on him and he skies over the bar, look, that's just poor technique, and I think that's okay to say. But I think he's all around game today. I think apart from the chances, those 2 chances which will stick in everybody's mind, I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. I thought leading the line on his own. I thought, and I agreed with the commentator when he talked about himself and Diaby being unusually kind of comfortable playing off each other. considering that the Abbey's only been here a handful of days. But no, I just wanted, like as I say, I'm not here to tell anybody what to think or tell anybody how to be a fan, but I just do. I myself wasn't negative about any of those things. You expect them. These are the times to swing a leg at something when it's coming across the box, or these are the times to iron out and say, "Oh, I thought you'd go there." So like Pau Torres, you didn't go there, so now I know you don't go in that instance. You instinctively don't do that. So in future, I need to talk to you if I need you to go in that direction. And all this kind of stuff comes with just playing together. Like we were very excited, or I was very excited, should I say, prior to the game with the setup of having Pau Torres in there, and numerous times in the first half they went directly over his head. And with a crossfield ball to try and get Shade in, and the penalty was essentially that they went over his head. Shade, no, it wasn't. Was that for the penalty? Yes, it was. They went over and Shade came in. I don't know how he was onside. I've absolutely no idea how he was onside. I don't think they played a replay. Pop in the comments there, anybody, if they put a replay of that of the offside decision for the first goal. Because if he was, it's an absolutely superb run. But I've no idea how he was onside. He gets in, Konza gets back, can't get anything on the ball, but Konza did brilliantly to get back in that instance there. But it was a stonewall penalty and dispatched really well. The second goal, I think it was where De Silva, the ball goes over Pau Torres' head. And look, there's not much you can do there. They just targeted him for it, a fullback or a centre back playing a fullback. And they probably kind of drifted too far in the field. Ball went over his head. De Silva takes it down, cuts inside, and smacks one into the top corner. An absolute wonderful goal. Not too annoyed about the two of those. From the fact that I didn't see the offside, and then this one, yeah, you could say that this guy was given too much space to Silva, but he swings a leg at that in future, they're going 30 yards over the bar, that's not a natural thing for him to do, to be able to smack it in there. But he did, and it was a serious goal, and it was probably the goal of the day, and that's saying something considering the Ezri Konsa goal, which comes next. As I mentioned previously, Konsa picks the ball up just outside his box, makes a run. Two Brentford players. Like, the best thing about that run is he maneuvers his body to hit one Brentford player, the belt of his shoulder, and then immediately turns around and hits the other one with his left shoulder and knocks the two of them flat on the ground, leaves them for dead. And then the Brentford defense backed off. I don't know, would they back off like that in an actual game, like a game in a league situation? But they did. Think they were afraid of Diaby's pace. They were afraid of Watkins getting in behind, and it just opened up like the Red Sea for Ezri Konsa, and he smacks it into the back of the net. I think Brentford will have cause to probably, they've got a brand new goalkeeper in there, and he's going to need to get on the same wavelength as his backline as well. I'm not sure in a situation like that there was very much communication going on from the goalkeeper, but he's brand new into the situation. As we know, David Rea is likely never to play for Brentford again. But we profited from that situation, and fair play to Ezri Konsa. It was a brilliant goal. And then the next goal was, who got the next goal? Why can't I remember? Diaby was the next goal. Lovely, simple goal. So simple. Pass to the side. When you've got a player like that, that's one of the beautiful things that Diaby brings to this team. When you've got a player that, I suppose, defenders know is tricky, and they know he's got latent pace, and when they stand off him that small bit too much, all he has to do is shift it onto his left foot and bang in the back of the net. That was as simple a goal as you'll see. But you know what? The funny thing about it is, I think we're going to see that a couple of times this season. I really do think we are, because I think teams will be afraid of him from that point of view. And I just want to say as well, obviously Leon Bailey came on in the second half. Prior to signing Diaby, I couldn't quite verbalize why I felt that there were different types of players. And I know one swallow doesn't make a summer, and I know that it's only two partial performances we've seen, or partial appearances from Moussa Diaby, or two halves, should I say. And Leon Bailey only had a partial appearance today, but I think you can kind of see that they are different players. They move differently with the ball. They have just a small bit of a different kind of go about them as well. And like Leon Bailey doesn't finish that goal today. He probably tries to come inside, cut back outside again, then cross the ball, because he doesn't have that type of confidence, I don't think, at the moment. But fair play to Diaby. That's 2 goals and two, and long may it continue. I thought moving John McGinn into that kind of positioning behind the goal, behind the two strikers, and push Diaby out. Or sorry, when I say the two strikers, I'm talking about Diaby and Watkins, and push Diaby more out to the right hand side. I thought that really worked. And for Matt, that was for this goal. Ball comes, I think, to I think it was McGinn. No, it wasn't. It was Matty Cash's goal. Ball comes into McGinn once again. McGinn just shifts it right. With the players there at the right time. The one thing I love about this, about Emery's tactics, and it was the same last season, is um, we're very we're very in tune with when to release the ball, if that makes sense. Specifically when our fullbacks are getting high, we're not leaving them waiting for passes. We're passing it at the right time. We're sucking just the right amount of people in, and that's what happened in this goal here. We sucked the right amount of people in. Comes to Matty Cash, and just like he did against Everton 2 years ago, finds a left foot out of nowhere and bangs it into the back of the net. You know, it was taking no prisoners with that shot, and we're 3-2 up. And then the last goal, the goal for Brentford, a brilliant strike from is it Lewis Potter, Lewis Potter, whatever his name is. Comes back off the crossbar. I thought Martinez got a touch to it, but he didn't. It drops, and I think Mings gets in the way of it, and the ball breaks out, and Buendia was caught flat-footed as Baptiste just got onto the end of it and stuck it in the back of the net, and that was 3-3 really. Some nice cameo or some nice performances I thought today, and I'll get your comments in a moment. Some nice performances. I thought Jaden Philogene Bides, yeah, at the start. Easy knowing he's not used to heading the ball. The ball that comes across the area to him, and he finds himself unmarked at the back post. Now, difficult chance to take the way he tried to take it, getting his right foot on it, not even his left foot, when it was almost gone past his body. But I think if he dives at that with a header, he probably scores. But look, that's nitpicking for the young man. I think he's been a real, like, he's going to be the one that's put his name up, and he's put his hand up, and he's put his name forward for Unai Emery. And I think you ask Unai Emery coming out of this, if you put truth to him, he'll say, I'm delighted this guy has stood up, because it's a position that we need, you know, having that unpredictability, having that defensive stability, because Philogene, he's diligent enough back there as well, you know. He's not going, he seems like a guy who's doing what he's told in defense, which is fine, which is exactly what you want, actually, in fairness. But what he's doing when he goes forward is he's got that, he's able to back himself, you know, to maybe take the ball down the side of players, or to ghost in towards that back post there. So really well done to him. You know, I thought you know, this whole trip has been absolutely fantastic for him. But that's news to nobody. The back four, talking about the back four, it was very much a performance at times whereby communication was lacking, and they were all individually trying to defend while they were obviously able to keep a line, because we were pretty good, albeit that Kevin Shaddy's goal, or the penalty, came from that high line. But as I say, I'd love to see that back, because I can't believe that it's physically possible to be that far beyond the line and beyond side, considering the defenders that we have. But once again, it could have been a communication mishap, playing Pau Torres out there. And that's fine. You know, I'm okay for that to happen in pre-season, as long as it doesn't happen twice against Newcastle the first day of the season, and we end up 2-0 down, you know, in the first 8 or 12 minutes. That's when we need to start getting worried. But it's not anything to be worried about at all, I don't think. But no, that back four was difficult to make head nor tail of it. Just because I think there was a communication issue throughout the first 20 minutes until the water break. And I think we tightened up afterwards, and then the subs come, and the subs will ruin any fluidity that a team has, for sure. Like there's just, it's very, very rarely that when you make 10 subs that the game doesn't peter out or become a bit stale. Let's go to some of your comments here. Oops, where are your comments, Kanta? There they are. I'm gonna go back up. Yeah, so Shooting's tweet says was a good game. Yeah, I believe, or I agree with you, should I say there. Rachel says there are lots of positives and negatives, but it was good. Yeah, the negatives are sortable. Like, you know, there's no catastrophic failure with any tactical piece. Like if I was Brentford, I'd be a small bit worried about some areas that they have. Like I would be worried about the middle in our midfield. I'd be worried about, you know, maybe it was because of who they had out there. But I thought we were able to pass through them once we figured them out in midfield. We were able to pass through them very easily in the this latter half of the first half and the early part of the second half. I thought we found them easy to get through, and teams have found them easy to pass through their midfield in this summer series as well. So I think if I was Brentford, I'd be worried about that. Um, where else are we? Yeah, Chris is saying we played some good stuff. Can you get Paddy on to see how mothered he is? No, I can't. I don't think there's it's not after the watershed, so I certainly can't get Paddy. I'd love to get him on, all right, but he did actually text me. I presume he's not looking to know um when he can pop on. No, he's not. He is. He's actually coming down from Dublin back home for it. I didn't expect that. Um, a lot of people saying, there's Paddy. He's actually in the house. He's watching. A lot of people saying, shame we couldn't get a win today and have a little trophy. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, all right. But I have a funny feeling that Chelsea are going to go to town in this game. That's just on now at the moment. So I don't know even if we did win today, if it would have. If that would have given us the trophy. I have no idea what way the permutations went. But it would be an interesting one. All right, if we did win. So PSK is saying, as per my earlier message, expect the media to start reporting the incoming in the next 72 hours. I'm licking my lips already. I really am, and I'd be really interested to see where that is, or what player it is, or what position it is, because as I say, we're looking at a nice rounded team. Our squad even at the moment, some of the players we brought in did well. I thought I'm not going 2-footed in on anyone, but I thought for all the the videos of Coutinho looking fit and everything like that, he just looked a small bit older today. He looked a small bit slower. Like that shot he took that went 8 to 10 yards wide. I could see the frustration building up in him, and then when he took that shot, I went, yeah, probably shouldn't be doing that. But look, as I say, he's had limited minutes. He's been out injured for quite a while. And I think he himself knows that he's not a mainstay within this team. He could contribute all right for sure, but I think he needs minutes in the legs. But we're approaching the season, and it's been a bit difficult for him. I think if he was available for Walsall, if he was available for the last two games, if he wasn't injured prior to those, I think it would have been much better for him for this off season. But he might be somebody, I think, that as the transfer deadline begins to approach, the deadline approaches, I think we might field offers for him, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Best also, PSK is saying that somebody might be coming in, so it might be somebody an attacking player, which might knock him further down the pecking order again. Who knows? This is exactly it. It's only AI or it's only Al. I don't know which one that is. The pace of our wide players creating a lot of space down the middle, and then being able to overload for Cash to score was brilliant. But they're showing his quality at a young age. Yeah, exactly. So as I say, John McGinn slotting in there, trying to draw out one of their back three as well. Was quite intelligent, and I like that. I like that goal. I like the simplicity of those two goals, the one for Diaby and the one for Cash as well. Where else are we? I'm just going to go. Yeah, a couple of people saying that Ali looked knackered as well. I think a lot of players began to tire especially after the first half, because to be honest with you, I think they probably like it. First of all, it was midday sun in Baltimore or in Maryland or wherever it is. That's going to be hot. Can't remember what they said it was, but it's going to be hot. I know they've been over there for a while, but still, it drains you. And second of all, if you think these guys haven't had the absolute nads ran off them at times during the course of the last two weeks, well, then I don't know what to tell you. So, coming to the end of a tour like this, I think that they'll be all looking to get into the recovery session maybe tomorrow, then hit a plane and come home. I don't know if they're coming home today or tomorrow, but I would imagine that there will be a recovery session, and then it will be more familiar kind of build up to the next two games as they get used to how they're going to build up in the build up towards Premier League games, I think, coming up as well. View from the stands, good to see you, man. He says, here in the overreaction comments, Neil, but also get what you mean about having to respect other people's views, as it's hard not to bite. Yeah, look, I look, as I say, everybody can be a fan whichever way they want. As I say, that's the beauty of discourse. It's the beauty of a lot of social media. And as I say, my opinion on it is that when the cold light of day, that people just don't like certain players because they don't like certain players, and the second something goes wrong, they're like, this player is unsalvageable, and that's fine. They can think that all they want, and I can have a different opinion. Two people can shake hands and both go to work the next day. It's not. It's become a battleground, specifically over sport. Like especially specifically over the two people supporting the same team. Sometimes can get into a battle over things, and I can never understand that because it's at the end of the day, my opinion is meaningless. And unless your name is Una, not you, but the general you, unless the person that I'm arguing with is Una Emery, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. It doesn't, and all it does is just foster someone having a bad day. So that's my opinion on it anyway. But yeah, I must get you on again. Actually, man, I must get you on again. I really enjoyed that last chat that we had last summer. Must definitely hit you up for that one. Where are we? The tempo that the Abbey plays. Yeah, so a lot of you guys. Oh, the Shade thing was in his own half. Was that what it was? He was just inside his own half. Was that what it was? Yeah, because I didn't see it. I didn't see the replay of it at all. But fair play and what a run from him. So that's electric pace from him as well. Where else are we there? I'm just looking at the comments there. Ben Mee, yeah, there was a couple of ones there where Ben Mee brought back, and I think he's been very much in the zeitgeist of Aston Villa fans' minds, I suppose, with Wesley being moved on in the last couple of days. Ben Mee's been brought up an awful lot, but yeah, it was an interesting one today. There's a couple of meaty challenges from him, but that's the type of player he is. I suppose if he's playing for your team, you're going to love him. If he's playing against you, you're not going to love him because you're going to be terrified, specifically in a preseason game, that he might go like he won a free when Bailey kind of backed out of a header, but arguably you could say Ben Mee went through the back of him as well. So what's a strong-headed challenge and what's backing into a player. I don't expect anyone to answer that. That's obviously with my Clark blue glasses on there, but in a preseason friendly, when you're a foot taller than the person that you're jumping against and you go in that hard and heavy against him, that's just the type of player he is. And as I say, that's why he's probably stuck around at this level for so long, because they're needed. Those types of players are needed by some teams, and they're loved by the players that play with them and the fans that they play for. Do you know what today gave me a bit of a hankering for? I would have loved to have seen Alex Moreno today. I would love to see Alex Moreno in all of these three games because of the attacking football we've been playing. But what it's also done is and JJ. I'd love to have seen JJ today more so than any other day. I think I would love to see JJ because, as I said, they did compact our midfield, but when we took a step back and started to play through them, we got a lot of joy out of it. And I think JJ would have been very good today. It's a pity he's injured. Real pity he's injured. But look, he will be back. It's not a particularly bad injury. I know it's time-wise it is, but he'll recover and he'll be back. He's only a young guy. And Alex Moreno, I said I would love to have seen him there today because there was a couple of nice balls. Like there was a passage of play. I can't remember who it was. Was it Bailey in the second half? Bailey got a ball and he clipped it to the back post. And I think it was Luca Dean that dropped it. And the pass that Luca Dean, first time, laid back into Diaby, and I don't know was Diaby's shot blocked or did it go over the bar, but I think you guys might remember the passage of play I'm talking about. As the ball dropped out of the sky, he just first time nailed the pass, and it almost went like at a 45-degree angle off his foot straight back to Moussa Diaby, and then Moussa Diaby had a shot, and I think his shot might have been blocked, but it's just a really nice passage of play. It was, and the two things people remember for Leon Bailey are the one that hit the back of his heel and the one that hit the back of his head. There's the two balls. If he ducks out of the one that hits him in the back of the head, he's onto it. And you know what happens there. If he jumps over one that hits him in the back of the heel, he's onto it, and he had their backline on toast. Incredibly unlucky, but incredibly unaware. You know, so and both of those can be true. You know, he was unaware of where the ball was because he had done such a good job of fronting up his man and basically giving him the legs to break free from him. But he was unlucky. Like, you can be unaware and get lucky too. You know, he could be unaware of where the ball is and it just drops over your shoulder and you get lucky. But he was unlucky that this ball wasn't 6 inches to the right and didn't just skim his ear as opposed to clipping him in the back of the head. So, like, was his performance great? No, it wasn't. But, you know, you could see some of the stuff he was doing. The end product wasn't great, but some of the stuff he was doing to try and make things happen, now's the time to do them. And that's the funny thing about Leon Bailey is he does those things right. It's just, I think he genuinely has a lack of awareness of where he is in the field at times, or how a depth perception issue with regards to when he's running at players that they're able to tackle him and they're able to get back at him and they're able to get a foot in. And the game against Leicester or Christensen, is it Christensen? I think he is the left back. Just showed that he never knew how far or how close to that player he was at any time in the game. So I think it's an awareness and a perception issue. And can that be coached? I presume it can, but you know, we're looking for it for the last 18 months now. So and we've got lots more preseason games to get on the wavelength with players as well, you know, specifically balls over the top. Nick, 1 win in 3 is a concern. Is anyone else concerned about not winning preseason games? And this isn't having a go at you, Nick. It certainly isn't. But undefeated. So 1 win in 3 is a concern. Undefeated against teams in the top half of the Premier League over the course of 3 games in a week. 5 points from teams in the top half of the Premier League within the space of a week is quite good. You know, and as I say, I'd love to win every preseason game, but you're trying things. You're trying out different combinations, and specifically today, I think we were trying out combinations. We went 2-0 down, we came back to 3-2, and then you know we make a raft of subs and never make it to 3-3. I think these things are to be expected, but as I say, I think it'd be great to win them all. Don't get me wrong, it'd be great to win them all. Yes, I did. I love that as well. I might be wrong. Says I loved Philogene attempt at the Doug Ellis bicycle kick. Yeah, I did too. He's a confident young man. I really like to see it. I really like to see it as well. Where else are we? I'm going to scroll down here a small bit. John Steele asks, is it me or does it look like Doug does it look like Louis has gone up a level again? And British Mix says Dougie's true balls need a mention. Yeah, it is true balls. I wasn't thorough, because that was a completely different conversation that we would need to have. Yeah, I think Douglas Luiz is really rounded out to be a really, 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 really good midfielder. Premier League, top level Premier League midfielder at this moment in time. He's a real creative force. Like he's energy, the energy that he has, and the willingness to want to be on the ball. When you talk about, like, you know, teams, every team wants a player that can grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and players do it in different ways. And I think his enthusiasm, the want to be on the ball, and the energy and the skill level he brings as well, like that. It's sometimes, you know, the energy levels and your will to win, if you want to call it, or your want to be on the ball, can be seen as like as a negative, that you're compensating for something else. But he has great ability on the ball. Like he's a true Brazilian midfielder, and those little, you know, slide rule passes that he plays, or the true balls he plays, or the ones over the top, like in Fulham, against Fulham to Diaby, they're becoming more and more frequent. And that's a man that's getting more and more comfortable in his surroundings, comfortable in the league, in the pace of the league that he's playing in, and a man that's maturing and reaching his peak. And I'm very happy with Douglas Luiz. Very happy with him. And I and like no spoilers in this one, but he will be a superbly pivotal person. Like he surpassed Kamara, albeit Kamara being injured quite a lot last season. Um, we thought that Kamara would have been brought in to maybe wrestle him out of his position or keep him on his toes. He stood up to the challenge, and he's actually became a much better player because of it. Albeit that he's moved into an 8 as opposed to a 6 position. Um, he's made himself indispensable in this team, not only for his deliveries from set pieces and from corners, but just his all around play is is really good. You know, he's a 7.5 out of 10 every game, and he's 8 out of 10 games, and he's 8.5 out of 10 games are becoming more and more frequent. So love it. Yeah, and that's what we want. We want continuous growth from these players as well. We want this team to stick together. We want to add to this team as opposed to be subtracting. And we will continue to be in a position to add to this team if players who regularly play at a 6.5 start playing at a 7, start elevating their level. The team will grow together, and that's Unai Emery. That's Unai Emery, and it's one of the reasons um why it's one of the reasons why he's been so successful. Emery is that he's elevated players. And Danjuma, just look at Danjuma. Not a bad player, don't get me wrong, not a bad player at all. But his time at Villarreal was comfortably the best period of football in his career so far. His time at Bournemouth was in the Championship. Villarreal comfortably his best period of football. Goes to Spurs last year, can barely get off the bench. You know, he's at Everton now, and it'll be interesting to see how he performs under Dyche. But Unai Emery is the magic sauce here. He is, and I'm loath to as well to just blindly trust him. You know, but the but what he does is very effective, and has been so far. And getting the best out of Douglas Luiz has been one of those as well. Where are we here? So a couple of people asking me about Pau Torres. A couple of people asking as well about conceding a lot of goals. Well, the conceding goals thing is easy because we're playing different. We're playing like we're rolling on and rolling off subs essentially, and we're playing different. We're trying things out. Like Pau Torres at left back today. Like, did any of you see that in your cornflakes this morning when you woke up? Like, it's and these things are going to happen in preseason as well. You know, the team is wrecked. The team is going to be training, doing 2 sessions, 3 sessions a day. It's at times in these preseason camps. You know, so it's not a worry for me that we're conceding goals because some of the goals have been sloppy, yeah, but some of the goals have been just that the preseason at times can be just made for attacking players. I think this summer series has been made for attacking players, whether it be Elliot Anderson, the guy that scored against us and led one on, went to town last night in the final. I went to town last night and had his fill at the end of the game, and lots of teams are conceding goals. I think it's a great run out. I also think it's the fact that we're playing against good caliber teams and we're nowhere near 100% and they're nowhere near 100%. And when that happens, you know, mistakes happen and games become much more open. If we were playing against the Tromsø or Strømsgodset or whatever, going back to my Scandinavian football again. If you're playing against those and we were conceding 2 goals a game or anything like that, we're a bit concerned. Well, I wouldn't even be concerned, but I'd have a gripe about it. But for this, it's just like we're playing different people starting in that back four. We're rolling players in, rolling players out. Different goalkeepers starting at times, and things like that. So it's just chemistry, you know. I think we'll be fine come the start of this Premier League, and I think the defense wasn't an issue, and I think that we fortified a bit in the defense as well. So I don't expect it to be based on all the available evidence that we have when the defense is settled in place together. Hope that makes sense. And as Kingy Game says, VAR helps with the offsides. And then straight away underneath it, Gary Owen says, "Enjoy football without VAR." So look, that'll tell you. You know, we've got. That's why football is so beautiful. The differing opinions. And neither of the two of them are wrong. There's been some. It's great the fact that the game hasn't been called back every 5 minutes for stuff, but also it's great when things go against you. Like I didn't see the replay of the Kevin. I was convinced he was offside, but if he ran from his own half, if I'd seen VAR, brilliant. Would have seen it. I would have had no qualms with it. So sometimes it swings around about with VAR. Right, I am going to leave you guys at that. Thanks so much everybody for watching. Gosh, there was over 200 people watching this. And it was a last minute stream that I did. Really appreciate it. Paddy's going to be back. Paddy's going to be langers tonight, so I don't know is Paddy going to be in any fit state to do a podcast at some stage tomorrow, but I'll try and get him on. Paddy, if you're watching, we might go about 9:30 tomorrow night. In the that's what I'm aiming for. So get your sleep in early during the day. I also tomorrow on the podcast we're going to give away the Moose Diaby jersey to one lucky winner. There's still time to enter. You can enter that. All you have to do is go back and find the tweet where it mentions the competition, retweet it, like it, and follow us on Twitter. That's all you got to do. And you'll be able a chance to win a Moose Diaby jersey of your choosing. It can be away or home. At the time we released it, the away kit wasn't out. So if you want the away kit, we'll get you the one with we get you the away kit with it on as well. So it's completely up to yourself. So get liking that. Get liking this as well. If you like the podcast, drop us a sub on YouTube. It costs you nothing. I guess Mad, you just happened to mention it. I mentioned it in the podcast there, and the Team Sheet Tantrum. I got 10 or 11 new subscribers on YouTube. Just fantastic. Thank you so much to everybody who takes the time even to just click on that sub button, because we're getting more and more people in here to chat to. And that's the beauty about it. But Paddy will be back. That's the main thing on the next podcast that we do. So in the meantime, try not to miss him too much because he'll be fine with a pint in his hand. So we won't worry too much about that, especially when his team won today. But everybody else in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.